TubesX, before we start going, this is the disclaimer, and you need to listen to this before you watch this video. If you really have the time to sit here for whatever 20 minutes I'm going to go on talking about all these issues, then you should hear what I'm about to say right now, because I am a very tolerant person, but I'm getting very frustrated. So, number one, the topics I'm going to talk about is the Orlando nightclub shooting at Pulse. I'm going to talk about religious issues tied in with gay issues. And when I say gay, I mean LGBT. As a gay man, I usually say gay. So understand that I'm talking about all of us. And I'm not saying that I'm not trying to disrespect any particular segment of the community. I am going to talk about the wedding cake issue. That's backpedaling a little bit, but I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the transgender bathroom issue. I'm going to talk about a lot of things that some people don't really want to talk about, and a lot of people are talking a lot about, and a lot of things that have already been talked about. But I'm going to talk about them here tonight on this video. Here is the disclaimer about those topics. From this point out in the video, there may be strong language used, because I'm very emotionally tied to these issues, and I may not be able to control myself, and I am not going to lower my the quality of this video by bleeping those things out. So if you feel that when an adult is upset or trying to express themselves and chooses a word like the F word instead of saying, oh, horse feathers, then you need to stop watching this video now, because that mode begins now. If you are not able to express yourself in the comments or speak with me about my thoughts and beliefs here as a reasonable person trying to also share your beliefs and opinions, then I don't want to hear from you. So if you come swearing and cussing and saying that I'm an asshole, I don't care. Okay? If you can talk to me, talk to me. If you can use some light swear words just because it's how you're saying what you're saying, that's okay. But if you're gonna say, you effing mother F, all this stuff, bye. If you are so firm in your beliefs or faith that you cannot tolerate hearing alternative viewpoints to what you believe, you should not watch this video. If you are like me, you seek to understand other people's views and opinions in the world to better cope with not understanding people. So if you don't follow that sort of mentality, and it's only what you think and what you believe and everyone else is wrong, I really don't care, okay? If you have to be able to come with logic here to understand what I'm saying. The point of this video is to help people understand what they do not, or to better their understanding, or to share ideas and opinions. If you're not about that, you're not about watching my video. I respect everybody's opinions as long as they are not trying to kill me, hurt me, or impede me from living my life just like everybody else does, okay? So if you do not believe that other people have a right to express themselves, you probably should not watch this video, okay? Let's get into it. So, let's start with the Orlando nightclub shooting, because that is the newest issue on the table. And the first thing I'm going to say that people are not, well, that's going to be really controversial is the way I'm going to put it, is that if we go and say in these news reports that a Muslim terrorist killed 50 gay people, you know what that is? That feeds into the whole concept that all Muslim people are terrorists. That feeds into the concept that all, Muslim people hate gay people. There are Muslim gay people. There are Muslim people who, if they don't support our community, at the very least, they mind their own damn business. And the reason I bring that up is because gay people need to keep in mind and check themselves at the door and remember that we're working towards progress. Not all religious organizations, especially, are not very progressive in their thoughts. They're very conservative. They don't just change things overnight. First of all, it doesn't really matter to me what religion the terrorist was. He is a person who decided to kill dozens of people for no fucking reason. Okay? And there's the language for you. If you're that upset that I dropped the F word in the context of what I'm talking about, time to stop watching. So, can you imagine just, living your life, minding your business, and all of a sudden some guy wants to kill you for no reason? Come on. Like, there's not even a reason. There is no reason. The only reason that there is somewhere in his sick, twisted freaking head that this guy has mental problems. It is a sickness. That is not a representation of Muslim people. Like, I am sorry. It is not. Okay? Now, this guy, who knows that he even was really... I mean, what he did was a terrorist act. Yes, absolutely. Do we know that he really was ISIS? Probably not. The guy's a freaking nut job. Okay? He did not just kill 50 gay people, maybe some allies that were in there. He didn't just kill They were Americans too, yes, but they were people. They were just people living their life, minding their own business. Partying up, having a good time, on dates. For me, it's not that the whole thing doesn't touch me and break my fucking heart, but I cried because I read an article about two boyfriends that had been together 3 years, and both of them were there, and they got killed together. And you know what? I've been with my boyfriend for over 3 years now, and that hit home deepest and hardest for me because I can relate so much more strongly to those two guys than anyone else that was there. I can relate to all of them, but those two especially. And their family, both families, are very supportive of them, love them, and have decided together that they're going to bury their sons together because that's what they think they would have wanted. Okay, keep your composure. So that is the first thing, okay? Like, these were people, okay? They got freaking killed for no reason. People want to talk about gun control. To be honest with you, this makes me want to have a gun even more. Ryan doesn't support guns. He thinks that there should be no guns. And I've tried to explain to him, and it's not that he doesn't understand, but he just doesn't agree, that we are too far gone in America to cut guns off completely. You cannot take these guns that have been out here for 200 years or whatever. Like, people are not going to give up their guns. So we need to say, well, what can we do to be safe? I think we need to do it like Texas. Did you know there is a bank in Texas that has a gun store inside of it? The left side of the store is a gun store, the other side is a freaking bank. Do you think anyone's robbing them? You go in there with your gun out, and all the tellers are gonna have freaking assault rifles in your face. Like, you know what I mean? I feel that responsible gun owners are in a position to save lives when something happens. When a school shooting happens, if somebody in there had a gun and was responsible, guess what? The school shooting wouldn't have happened. Because you know what? They would have got stopped. Somebody would have shot that person trying to kill all those people. Here's the deal, okay, that people need to understand. That criminals and mentally sick people who would decide to kill 20 people, 50 people at a nightclub because of their fucking problems are not going to care about signs that say gun-free zone, drug-free zone, this is a crime-free zone. You know what? Nobody gives a shit about that. It doesn't change what crazy freaking people are going to do. That is something that's so messed up about this country. There are so many veterans that are willing to go patrol our schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, colleges, for free, just for something to do. And they should get paid for it anyway, to be quite perfectly honest with you. Why can't we have that? Why was this guy with the Pulse nightclub on terrorist watch lists and investigated and followed by the FBI, and he was able to buy a gun? You know what I mean? Like, it is crazy. You know, so yes, we need more gun control. We need more people that are responsible gun owners, because those people save lives. And if we could just make guns not exist, that would be wonderful. But it's not going to happen. We're too far gone for that. So just forget about it. You have to adapt. We have to move forward. We have to figure out how to live in this world and not get blown away trying to eat a freaking sandwich. Or, you know, look at what happened in France. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have this shit. We can't have nice things because we've spent too much time, all types of countries, not just America, meddling in other people's affairs that are not really our business. And has great, good, you know, wonderful things happen from it? Absolutely. But also, there is a price that has to be paid for that. And so we have groups like the Taliban, like ISIS, who primarily exist because they hate us because we meddle in their freaking affairs. And that is, maybe it's not, maybe they would have done the same things anyway, but maybe they wouldn't. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know, what would have happened, it's all irrelevant. We can't go back. We have to go forward, okay? Those people are not going to go away, so we can't stop being in international politics in a capacity that upsets these groups, because now they are there and we have to deal with them. While we're talking about ISIS, let's mention that the ISIS Twitter account was hacked by Anonymous, supposedly, and replaced with rainbow flags and all types of stuff and gay porn, which I think is amazingly awesome. Fuck ISIS, okay? You know, like, really. And if anyone gets upset about that comment, obviously we know who you roll with. There are churches, there are Christian organizations, there are even some Islamic organizations that, at the very least, are saying that the whole Pulse event was horrible and they stand against it, and that people should go donate blood, people should donate supply, you know, people should donate, help the victims. You know, they may not be saying, you know, we're okay with homosexuality, but they recognize that this was so wrong and evil, you know, that they, and that to me is saying that they recognize that we're not evil, because we are not. You know, but there are still churches and groups, no offense to the South, but a lot of them down there in the middle of the country, like Westboro in Kansas, that think that we're all, you know, all these Ted Cruz Christians, you know, no offense to Ted, well actually, yeah, no, I don't really like Ted Cruz, so I'm going to, yes, offense. So if you don't like that either, time to move on to another video. All these Ted Cruz Christians that think that we're all pedophiles and perverts and, you know, want to turn our country's legal system into a freaking inquisition. Like, I'm sorry, but Ted Cruz had more, it was more like watching, like, Channel 2 at 4 o'clock in the morning and having people, like, you know, Kokolobokosha, you know, shaking and shit, than it was, you know, a political freaking speech whenever he would do his debates and stuff. Like, on it, or his speeches, everything. Like, I watched his stuff, and I really was like, wow, you know. And the comments that man made were very offensive, and they have a right to think what they want to think, as long as they stay out of my life. And quite honestly, or at least respect me if we have to be in each other's life. But when you have people that say that gay people are sodomites, and, for, you know, cast them down with the sodomites, come on. Like, you know, molesters, pedophiles. The true facts are, and no, I do not have a source ready for you. If you want to dig one up to compare with and say, well, hey, you're wrong actually, please do. But I'm willing to guarantee you that the same amount of pedophiles and child molesters in the LGBT community is equal, percentage-wise, numerically, to the amount of molesters and pedophiles in the straight community or any other population segment that exists. because it is a sickness of the mind. Let's move on to the gay wedding cake issue. You know what? And I know this is old stuff that if I was around I would have talked about a long time, but it's still coming up. You know, it still happens. If you have kids in the room, put your hands over their ears for a second. If I went into your bakery and asked for a wedding cake with 2 penises in tuxedos on them and a priest in the middle marrying us, the penises, then you know what? I would understand where you're upset, where you object to it. But otherwise, it's not your fucking business. Make the fucking cake or go out of business. And yeah, there may have been some gay people in the community who took advantage of the situation to get a payday. I will not discount that, because there are people watching right now that probably did not expect me to pull that out of my hat. I'm not saying it's nearly half of the situations. There are also people who are very, very offensive and are breaking discrimination laws. And if they're not, it's because there's no discrimination laws in their state. So I'll give a very good example of a time where it was correct for somebody to be sued. There was a restaurant in New York City that was a very popular Italian restaurant for people to have their wedding, receptions, parties, whatever at, the after, whatever, where people eat. I don't know the proper name right now. I'm on a roll. I'm not trying to figure it out. So, anyway, this guy booked, some like 19, 20-year-old kid or something books the party, okay? And then the manager fires that, and I say kid, and if he's an adult, whatever, fires that person because of doing that party, which was illegal in itself, and then calls the gay couple and tells them that he doesn't want any gay parties at his place. You know what? It's not a fucking orgy. It is people trying to get married and celebrate their special day. Those people could have been together 30 years for all you know. Mind your, if you're going to be in business for the public, you better figure out a better way to say whatever you're trying to say. Because you know what? Now, if I'm going to be quite perfectly honest with you, yeah, I'm broke as hell. I could really use a lot of money. But if I booked a wedding somewhere, and so, which isn't going to happen because we want to get married in a court. But anyway, so if I booked a wedding somewhere and they said, we're sorry, but, this is a very, we're very conservative and Christians or what have you, and we'd rather not have this at our location. If they said it to me maturely, acting as adults nicely, and it wasn't an offensive comment the way that they said it, I don't think I would have a problem with that. Okay? I really don't. It would be a little, but I don't think I would take such great offense to it. But if you're going to tell me we don't want no gay parties here, you know what? Fuck you. So there's that one. Because you know what, that is so disrespectful. Like, what do you think is going to be happening here? Okay? Like, come on. Like, that's, no. You know what? You don't say we don't want any, that's like if a black couple or an interracial couple tried to get married and the guy said, oh, we don't want any we don't serve fried chicken here. You know what I mean? We don't cater fried chicken. You're going to have to find somewhere else. No, you do not say shit like that. So yes, you deserve to get sued, and if you lose your business through it, you know what? You probably shouldn't have been in business anyway, because you're supposed to be fair and equal to all people. It is a for-public business. It's not a Christian bookstore, okay? Like, you don't get to be like that. So understand that if you're going into business or are in business and don't understand what all the hubbub is about, because you are in America. If you don't want to do things like this, find another country where you can discriminate, okay? Like, get out of here. Get out, because you are not. America is about everybody coming together, and a nation of immigrants, of culture, of different beliefs coming together as one. If you're not about that, you don't belong in this country. Okay? I'm sorry, but you don't. You do not. And that is my belief. So if you disagree, I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. So people will say, why is it okay for the bakery to get sued, okay, but not, but a musician can't perform? Well, you know what? A musician is an artist. If that musician is not going to be able to give their best performance because of their personal beliefs and thoughts, that is different. Now, you might stop and say, hey, you know what? Decorating a cake is art. You are correct. It is art. But you know what? You're popping out cakes all freaking day, putting icing on it, okay? That is, I'm sorry, but it is art in a way, okay? And I have a boyfriend who decorates cakes, so I'm not downcasting it. But he also agrees. So understand that, you know what? It's not that type of art. You know what? You can make the cake and put the freaking grooms on, and or put the two brides on, or put the whatever on that people want. If it's not offensive, okay, like in a sense that it would be censored on television, then you know what? You got to do it. Sorry, or you can find another way to get out of it. That does not, you can find another way. There are all over the country. People go for job interviews all the time and are not hired for reasons that they're told are totally different than what the fact is. And a lot of us realize it, and that's okay, because at least you didn't say that you don't want to hire me because I'm a fag. Okay? That's another thing. If you're gay and you're using the word fag, I don't like you. I mean, once in a while, in whatever context maybe, but there are people that are running around that think that that's a term we should use. It is not a term that we should use. And when people say to you, when you tell somebody you shouldn't say fag, just like we shouldn't say the N-word, okay? And they tell you, oh, it just means a bundle of sticks. And yeah, you know why? Because where the origin of that word is a bundle of sticks was used to burn witches and homosexuals. That is where the term comes from. That is why it is used. So no, do not say fag. Do not use that word. As a gay person, if you say fag and I hear you in public, yes, I'm probably going to say something. I have before. I have a big mouth and I'm a wee little guy. So you know what? I'm probably going to get beat the fuck up myself one of these days. But I'm done. I don't want to be discriminated against. People need to wise up. Wise up. So I'm not advocating violence, but I am saying to challenge things, because a lot of people don't realize how hurtful it is to say that, I used to say that's gay all the time when I was in high school, before I was out. And now that I really understand that, there is an agenda with the placement of that slang to make gay people lesser than, okay? To say something is gay in a show of, that it's stupid or whatever, is basically saying that gay people are lesser than. So, yeah, it does mean something. People need to wake up and figure out what they're talking about. You need to know what you're saying. And I don't always know what I'm saying, but I know that much. Transgender bathroom issue. Let's talk about that. Because you know what? Transgender people have been using the bathroom of their choice for the longest time. The longest time. They've been using it forever. People don't know about it. Because you know what? You should mind your own business when you're in the freaking bathroom, for one. All these 1 million mom march, that's really like 10 women in a freaking, honestly, there is not 1 million moms in the march, okay? There's not even 1 million moms on their Facebook. They got like 50K, okay? And half and a quarter of those people aren't even moms. They're like other people. And then there's a good chunk of that too that are just people that want to keep an eye on them and don't really give a shit about what they're saying. You want to boycott, Target and all these other places, nobody gives a shit. Target is especially awesome to the gay community. I love you, Target. Okay, let me remind you how much I love you, since I don't have money to shop in your store right now, but I love you. You know what? They're very supportive. They're very with it. They don't give a shit, okay? And that is what is up, okay? Because it's the right thing to do. They have a big heart. A lot of corporate stuff pretend to have a big heart. Target has a huge heart. Their heart is like this, but this freaking big. It's bigger than me. So, love to Target, but all they were doing with this whole issue that popped up was reaffirming their corporate policies that have always been, or they have for several years. So, my concern is, for one, why you would listen, 1 Million Mom March, why do you think that the Target bathroom is going to be so derelict and slow that your daughter or your personal self is going to get raped in it? What fucking universe are you from? That's that right there. Like, honestly, my second question, Target is so busy, there are people going in and out of that bathroom all the time. So come on, come off with it. Next thing, people want to say, oh, it's about pedophilia and that there's going to be child molesters chilling in the bathroom. You know what? Most transgender people that would go in there, you wouldn't even know that they were transgender. You would have no idea. You wouldn't know unless you ask them, okay? So it's not, so when you have some guy, and by the way, transgender people are not cross-dressers or transvestites. If it's a guy with a freaking beard down to here wearing a red dress and high heels, then that is a transvestite. Any trans woman, okay, that used to be a man, would not go into the woman's room until she has fully transformed into what she's trying to be. She doesn't want to go in there and be looked at funny because she has facial hair, okay? She'll be in the men's room until that point, okay? That is what happens. That is the truth. I've talked to I don't want to say I've talked to so many, but I've talked to enough transgender people to understand that they are really not trying to be caught in places that don't match who they're trying to be, on the outside, okay? So you're not going to have a woman, you're not going to have a trans man that became a woman in a urinal either. I think most trans people are probably going to use a stall. Okay? Like, honestly, like, if you know what I mean? And if you don't, that's fine. More power to you. I want to know why people think that transgender people are going to be in the little girl's locker room flashing their junk. What fucking reality do you live in? Okay? That too is upsetting to me because it does not make any freaking sense. Talk about the fact that there are not only people, but politicians who have no idea what they're talking about, which really shouldn't be a freaking surprise to any of us. There's a real surprise. But, when you have these politicians that are voting for these bathroom issues, and voting on this and voting on that, and trying to impede gay marriage and all this stuff, these are people who are not doing their civic duty to their country, or to their state, or their county, or their city, or whatever little piece of shit that they represent. They are only thinking about their personal thoughts and beliefs. I'm sorry, but when you're a politician, you have to watch out for all of your constituents. You have to leave your own personal agenda out the door. And that really is the problem, is that no matter what politician you're looking at, almost all of them have some sort of agenda. But yeah, we have a lot of problems in this country. I'm all over the place. I think it's time to put this video to sleep now, because it's probably at least 30 minutes, if not longer. I don't know. But thank you for watching if you did. Please, if you have something to say, speak your piece. But bring it in peace.
Do you want to say anything for YouTube?
What?
Do you want to say anything for YouTube?
God loves the whole world.
Thank you. Can I give you a hug?
The world, man, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Take care.